welcome back to another episode of Teach Me How to Be a Witch, where we teach me,
us,
not you.
No.
That's not why we're here.
No, we're not here for that.
We are trying to figure out if I can successfully be a witch. She's already been into this for a little while. I, not so much. Though, some of the practices that I do practice
on a daily, almost
considered witchcraft, so that's a little interesting. We've been doing this for about a month-ish, couple episodes, few.
Yeah. And
we've tried a couple of different things, and so far I'm not really buying it, but I'm not mad at some of the things I'm finding out, you know? Like, I like the idea of cleansing a space, even if that's not the actual case. Like, I like the idea of cleansing a space.
No, it relieves you, even if you stop and you're like, okay, let me take my week out of me today. Like, I'm done with it. It's over with. Yeah.
And, I listened to that podcast, and I've lost my train of thought.
I'm on a couple of different ones at this point because I had the same as you with that. I was like, I like what they're talking about, but I'm not real keen on necessarily.
I don't know what she called it, but it was basically like a simmer pot on the stove.
Okay.
You put a little pot of
I
water
started episode 1.
With, well, no, I've heard of this before, though, outside
it's like a potpourri pot, basically.
Yeah, I think that's what she called it, but that's not what I knew it to be. It was a simmer pot,
Seriously, my nose.
I told you.
You weren't kidding. Can it just go?
We've moved it. I don't know what more you want. If we move it again, it's still gonna get to you.
It's the the campfire problem that you have when you go to a campfire and you're like, "Fuck, the smoke is coming at me," and you move,
and you move, and it's still coming at you. That's you.
That's me. That's
with that
seriously
incense.
My problem with the incense right now, and I don't know why. I don't know why.
I don't have an answer for that.
Anyways,
simmer pot. So
yes. Potpourri pot.
So you put a little pot of water and ingredients, depending on what you like. Some people
use good stuff.
Lots of times cinnamon, apples, oranges, cloves, really popular in the fall and winter months. Summertime is more like lemons and like fresher smells. I'm not a big rosemary person, but rosemary is common because it's very fresh. Mine would be cilantro, but I feel like if I put cilantro in a boiling pot, it's not gonna. I mean,
you could do like a lemon mint one.
Yeah, maybe we'll figure it out.
Strawberries,
but I do like the winter ones. And the other thing too is like running the stove when it's 100 and some odd degrees outside just sounds disgusting.
But you know what you could do?
No matter how
put it on a
fresh
crock
the
pot.
smell.
And you could open the lid on the crock pot and it could do the same thing.
You're absolutely right. And I do have that little tiny one now. So that's going to be, good call.
Yes, that's why we improvise. And you know what? We're not going to do that because we live in a place where it's 120 degrees for 5 months out of the year.
That's not true.
Well, at least 3.
It's not that bad.
At least 3.
Yeah, 2.5 to 3. But yeah, so like the simmer pot thing is like a way to like bless the home. And I think I like the idea of that more so than I believe in it as like a spell. I think I just like the idea of the way that the smell fills your home.
The homey
and the way that you feel when you smell it.
Yeah.
And
it's like
if you connect that with an intention, you know, the steam that rises and fills the whole home. So far goes this
of love
intention and blah, 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 and protection and this and that and the other thing. And the other thing...
Look, she's going to write the spells because this bitch can...
I just have a way with words.
I'm like, I'm going to take taken me 5 minutes at least and some
I have a
blue
way
drain.
with saying words.
Yeah,
I do not have a way with writing words, which is why we're doing a podcast and I'm not writing a book.
That's fine. I'll write the spells.
But I like the idea of putting feeling behind what I already
Well, you already do.
would
And like
be doing. Well,
like
would
when you
start doing, because I don't currently.
When we make our baked goods for holidays, you know, you tell the kids, you know, we're putting love into this and this is for family and blah blah blah, especially when they're young and they're helping you. So it's kind of magic that you're doing and putting intentions into a food and hoping that that family member feels that when they receive it. And
I can appreciate that, but I am less that person than you are.
Okay.
Mine's more like the practical way of like making sure, okay, listen, don't overmix this batter, because if you overmix, that's like the secret to everything. If you overmix the batter, it's going to be dense and you're going to be upset. So just make sure that you don't overmix the batter.
Wrong.
There's no love in the batter, but there's no room because you can't overmix the batter. So if you add love, now you got to mix it again and it's toast after that. And I know this. Do you know why I know this? Do you know why it's I know that it is so important. And listen, every cooking show, baking show that you've ever listened to or watched or heard of has told you, do not overmix. It even says that on the back of the cake mix box.
Absolutely.
Everybody says, do not overmix. Do you know why I know that's important?
Because you've done it?
Because of you.
Because of me. Because I've done it.
Because of you. No, because you made me do it.
When?
Purple red velvet cupcakes.
I knew you were going to bring that up. How did I know that's where you were going?
You want to talk about witchcraft? That's what was required to fulfill this request.
I was pregnant. I was
Witchcraft is I should have started doing this then. Because that's when it would have come in handy. Make it blue, make it purple, and make it red velvet.
Yeah. But obviously purple too, not like just tinted purple. Like I wanted purple.
You needed to cut open a cupcake
and
it is
be
purple.
Yep. She did it though.
And that's what she got.
She did it.
Some of them were hockey pucks.
You know, we didn't have a lot of people there, so it was okay.
You wanted 48.
Yes.
You wanted 48 purple red velvet cupcakes.
You did it.
Do you know this? I did. It took me all day. Oh, and this wasn't like in advance. My notice was the day before the baby shower.
Yes.
She called me, woke me up at 9 a.m. and said, I need you to make me 48 purple red velvet cupcakes by tomorrow. Good morning.
If only you would have had the husband now that you have.
He doesn't know. He's not a baker.
Oh,
he's a
wouldn't
chef.
Have figured out how to make purple out of red velvet?
No.
Okay.
He would have gotten there the same way that I did.
Okay.
Try after try after fail after fail. 100 times. All day, my whole kitchen, every shred of sanity that I had left.
She did it.
Went probably blood, definitely sweat, absolutely tears went into those fucking cupcakes. But they were purple and they were red velvet. They were not great. But aesthetically, she got what she wanted.
What I wanted. Yes.
But I know that you do not overmix the batter, because that's where I failed in that cupcake situation. That's why they turned out to be hockey pucks, because I just kept having to add, like, I wasn't getting the right color, and I just kept having to add food coloring and mix it and mix it and mix it. And I was making, like, small batches at a time.
Well, yeah, because you're not going to make a whole...
But, like, after a certain amount of food coloring drops, you lose track of how many drops you've put in there. So when you do it again, because you have to do this in batches, you can't recreate the same exact color. Like, you just know, like, okay, I put this much more of the blue than I did of the red. But there's also brown in it because there's cocoa powder, so that's throwing things off, and it's just making this muddy color.
It worked.
Eventually.
I got what I asked for.
But nowhere in any one of those cupcakes that were consumed on the day of your baby shower
Was there love?
was there one single drop of love.
Well, I
that
know
was
that
not in the recipe.
Okay,
it wasn't
but
even
you
in the frosting.
did it, and that's how I know that you love me, because you did it.
You're right. That's all you get.
And I was okay with that.
And do you know I still don't eat red velvet?
Because of that?
Mm-hmm.
You're still on strike?
Yes.
She's 9. Well, she's gonna be 9.
I still, for 9 years, I have not eaten
Do you
a
know
single
that
red
every
velvet
time I see red velvet anything, I get like really happy inside?
I have the opposite happen to me. I get really sad. Like, oh.
I get like super tan. I'm like, oh, my red velvet.
You know, on some level, I want to try the project again, not on such a large scale, because I don't want to make 48
now that you know how to do
anything. But now that I have like
An inkling.
Like an idea,
Mm-hmm.
because you can mix the food coloring separately in a little bowl.
Oh, that's really smart. Who said that?
Me. There's no over mixing food coloring. It's the gluten. When you add flour to something, that's when your timer starts, and you can't overmix. Is when you add the flour, because
so when did you determine
right now?
That's the key.
That's witchcraft.
See?
No, I think I'm just really, really smart. I think it just took me 9 years. Well,
get good at that.
And this long talking about it, because, you know, I don't bring this up often.
Really? I talk about this all the time.
It was traumatic.
I was proud of you.
It was traumatic.
I'm super proud of you for being able to do it.
I think that's why I want to try again, so that I can be proud of me too.
Okay. Can you put some love into it this time?
No.
Intentions, maybe?
Can I execute it? That's gonna be able to tell you if I am capable of witchcraft.
Okay.
Is if I can actually execute a decent purple red velvet cupcake. Because I've done it before, but they were not that edible. In fact, my dad was the one that referred to it as a hockey puck.
The frosting was good.
So, I think I want to try again.
Okay.
Knowing what I know now about making cupcakes in general, and the fact that overmixing them makes them dense, and that it's only overmixing after you add the flour, and you can mix food coloring for as long as you need to. Yep.
I want to try them. I'll be the taste tester.
I feel like you have to be.
Okay. I'm good for that.
There is not a single soul on earth that cares if I'm capable of making a purple red velvet cupcake except you.
Evie likes red velvet a lot.
Cast a spell for that to happen. And can you make it work though? Because there's not a whole lot that is so
but
far.
You're gonna do the intentional part.
Where there's not a lot that's worked.
No. But we're new. That's part of it. We have to practice more than once a week. You have to practice. Have you grounded yourself at all? Did you try grounding?
No.
Okay. Start there.
Well, when my grounding has to do with water, it's a little more difficult. I can't just put water noises on while I'm at work if I need to take a minute. You have the ability to do that on the fly. I can't.
You don't get to walk away from your desk for a second?
I mean,
Bathroom break?
But
And turn the water on really quick?
And just stand there.
No, you have to close your eyes and take your stone, because that will help you. And then it's like...
See, that's the other thing, is we've been talking about these stones, and it's just wildly inconvenient for me.
Take one stone with you is wildly inconvenient?
It's bulky.
It's small. You have a small. I said like this, but really it's like this. You have a small crystal. The white one.
Yeah,
the white one.
Cage is...
Oh, you don't have to carry the cage. You can put the crystal in like one of the pouches.
Yeah, again, with the heavy purse thing.
A pocket. You have...
Very often, no pockets.
You can put it
And if I have pockets, they're on leggings, and then I'm not gonna have a stone sitting out this far in my leggings. It's gonna look ridiculous. I will not. And then if I lean over on it, oh, it's over.
So we're gonna get you a bracelet then.
No, because I have had bracelets like that, like Bella's and like this. I have had bracelets. In fact, I have a couple of them because my son keeps getting them for me. But when I put my hands on my desk, it bruises the sides of my arms. The same thing has happened with this, but less frequently.
Okay.
It pinches. Like, it'll, like, if I get it just right, it'll pinch me.
Aww.
And I'm like, oh, that sucks.
Mine will get stuck up here, like overnight.
Mine's done that too. And I move it, and there's a...
And then this one pinches my hair. Like, it'll catch the hairs on my arm and, like, pull, and I'm like, oh, that fucking hurt. That fucking hurt. So I can understand
That's the problem I have with the chain of the white one that you got me.
What if I got you earrings?
No.
Oh, my God.
I only wear these. And occasionally this bottom one will be
What if I got you a
fancy.
tiara?
I'm wearing a tiara every day of my life. Do you know sometimes I do go to work looking like I shouldn't have a job? I'm not going and looking like that wearing a tiara. That's not who I am.
Okay.
And knowing you, it wouldn't be like a pretty princess tiara like this. It would be like this.
No! That would do for me. No, I would get you ones with a couple of stones in it so that you could have... Because you have...
I'm going to need you to make some words.
You see them all fall out of my mouth at once?
You sounded like your CD was scratched.
Anyway, you don't need the stones to ground yourself.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying
you're struggling.
I want to get rid of them.
So you're struggling, and they're helpful if you struggle.
I think
you have to say words too. They are not going to be an air bubble right here. I can just read.
I don't know how to say them. I think
words are hard, you guys. So all of the podcasts
that I
say
want
that too, just so we're clear.
Words are hard.
Yes, in the beginning, because I go back and I listen to like the introduction, start at episode 1 and go on. And the first few episodes, they're like, dude, words are hard. Like, just ignore all of the bad because it's gonna be.
We'll get better.
Yeah.
I think I want to keep them, but not like on my person. I don't think I'm a stone wearer. I don't think I want the stones like actively for my day-to-day.
Okay.
Because it's inconvenient.
So you need to make a little space.
But I think putting them in spells and like having stones that are good for certain spells that I know that I'm gonna want to do maybe, and like collecting certain types of stones along the way to use for certain things along the way, but not. So then
like
how
in
are
you gonna learn how to ground?
Sleep bag thing, like
so
it
then
says
how
you
are
can
you
put
gonna
a
learn
stone.
how to ground?
I don't know.
Well,
I'm not good at it.
I didn't say you were gonna be good at it the first few times. You get better at it.
Not
it's practice.
A very good witch.
I've noticed.
Because you're not supposed to have this many questions. You're supposed to just trust the process, and I am all the way questioning the process.
I know. So when I started this whole process, my mind was open.
My mind was open.
Is the key word in that sentence.
Because I was referring to a past tense sentence.
But it needs to continue to be.
I'm willing to believe it. I just need it to believe.
It's not going to believe in you.
No. I need it to be believable.
But you have to believe.
I need to understand how it works and why.
Just so I'm going to die right now.
I need for it to make sense.
I'm dying.
Stop dying.
The smoke is... It's killing me. Seriously. You see it, right? Coming directly at me. It's literally on camera, coming across my face. It's a little ridiculous. A little bit. Anyways, in order for it to work, you have to...
I have to know why it's going to work. I have to, understand it. So I think I want to switch to tarot cards, because at least the logic makes sense to me.
The same way the Scorpio and the horoscopy thing made sense to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But then I also read somewhere in one of these fucking books that you can even use a deck of cards, like playing cards.
Yeah.
As a tarot card.
Yeah. We'd have to find out what they mean, because that would be kind of
I would have to find out what all of them means. But I'm like, I lost a little bit of faith, because I was like, really? You can use a playing card? That seems...
That's the use what you have, I guess?
But then who, decides that? Who do you make it up along the way? Like, oh, this is the 5 of clubs. Means you're gonna trip.
Okay.
In a doorway.
Thank you.
I don't know why you can't do that.
I don't know why it's happening.
I don't have that answer.
I don't know why it's happening. I don't know what they mean, but maybe, for instance, the different suits mean different elements. So then you could put them with... I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about, okay?
I
have no idea. Tarot
and I don't know what... And there's
so
many different types of, decks and things. How
That's
do
going to
you...
be, again, something that calls to you, darling. Haha.
Listen.
She doesn't like it.
She
don't like it.
They don't call to me.
That's you not having your mind open. That's you not being able to, ground and center and, okay, reach out. And
I have to do all of that before I choose a deck of cards?
It doesn't take that long when you have the process down.
I'm learning. I'm trying to learn these things. But I already have to have that down before I can learn them, because I'm trying to buy the materials to learn them. That seems a little backwards.
I don't think you have to have it down specifically. I think you have to understand and know how to do it. Can you ground yourself? If we were to put on water noises right now, could you spend 5 minutes centering and come back with a clear mind and, feel good about yourself?
I don't know. I might fall asleep.
It's okay to fall asleep. You're allowed to fall asleep.
Yeah, but then if I'm needed for something, then I'm going to be a bitch to wake up.
Well, and in all honesty, you're not going to, you're not falling asleep right now. But when I do it at night...
on the way into the store to go buy the thing...
Throw on some water noises on the drive there and have the windows down.
Can't fall asleep then.
No.
Kind of got to pay attention to, the here and now as well while I'm driving.
To some extent, as long as you're not on,
Can't clear the mind completely. Have to remember how to drive.
No, that last part will be for when you park before you actually get out of the car and walk in. You'll, throw all the thoughts out the window as you're driving.
Oh, throw them out the window.
Then
okay.
Maybe that's
Bye.
maybe that's a good analogy for you. Because that's what grounding is. You recognize the thought that comes into play and you're like, okay, I see you, I hear you, goodbye. I'm moving on. And then the next thought comes and you're like, okay, I see you, I hear you, goodbye. And you don't stop and...
But sometimes I need those thoughts to come back to me later. They can't just go goodbye. Like, wait, I really do need to remember to do that.
Okay.
But now's not a good time. Come back later.
And that one, I think you're allowed to say that.
But is it
I
gonna
don't
do
lose
that?
all of my thoughts when I don't lose like my appointments that I've set that I don't have written down in my calendar. They don't go out my window and out of my head when I ground myself.
Oh, if I have appointments, they're in the calendar. That's why I have the appointment. But like, if I have to remember to like call for the appointment, or if I have to remember to make the appointment, or if I have to... See? Now is not a good time. So how do you like put a pin in it?
10-hour meditation last night.
That's called sleeping.
I know. I put on meditation noises after, because Evie and I sleep in the same bed. And so after she was asleep, I put on my sounds and I fell asleep to my 10-hour meditation. You're supposed to.
What?
Yes.
Says who?
Says the guy that I'm meditating with.
No shit, Sherlock.
I don't know that he's a doctor, but some of them are doctors. Like, some of them are like, it's okay that you fall asleep because your subconscious is still listening.
And what have you taken away?
I'm still smoking.
Uh-huh.
That's what I've taken away.
I guess that answers
I bought
that
the bracelet.
question.
I do the meditation. I'm still smoking. But I've also bought less. I'm buying like a pack less every week. And so it's starting to...
I think that's just you making a conscious effort to try to quit. I don't think you can attribute that to meditating.
Do you know how stressed I've been the last month? Trust me. There's no trying to quit right now. I'm like...
But you want to because you're making steps to make that happen.
And that's part of the intention and part of like the witchcrafty part, I guess, maybe. I'm hoping that helps.
I feel like it should work better than that.
I don't know that it does. I don't know a lot, and I'm just learning, practicing, I'm trying.
I feel like it should work better than that.
Like, even like if you go to a hypnosis, you have to go there multiple times before it's gonna like click.
Why? Isn't that the point?
Because it's not Western medicine, I guess. Like, it's not like a drug and an antibiotic that's supposed to like fix
there are medications that take a long time. Years ago, I got prescribed happy pills. They told me to take a half of one at first so that it didn't make me sick to my stomach because, of course, the side effects will kick in right away.
Right. But
that it would take up to 30 days for it to even start working. A happy pill. This is like a what's the serotonin?
But it's supposed to like rewire your brain and like make sure that all of the synapses are like functioning. And I think that's what witchcraft is kind of doing. It's like opening all of that. I have this hair in the middle of my face. I think that's kind of like what witchcraft is doing. It's like opening up the synapses in your brain and making sure and rewiring it and making.
I think if it's witchcraft, I feel like it should be faster than that. I want instant ramen witchcraft. I don't want this to be some crackpot shit.
I don't know how to make that happen for you.
There has to be a way.
I mean, how many books have you read now? Have any of them said that there's a way to do that?
The podcast lady did.
Okay.
But all of them said different things. How am I supposed to know what's what?
Try one.
If we're making it up along the way, can I make it up?
You can probably change parts of it. As long as you keep the intention the same.
Make it happen faster.
I don't know how to do that.
Put a timeline on that bitch.
What did she say?
Listen, she didn't go into detail with any of this. It was a 30-minute podcast. 35 minutes, I think, was the total episode. And for the first 5 minutes, because it was the first episode in the new year, She spent a little bit of time talking about that. And before that, she was apologizing for the way her voice sounds because she wasn't feeling well. And that took a good couple of minutes.
Okay.
Which was
so it
odd.
wasn't a very detailed episode.
No, and she covered a lot of ground. So she didn't spend a lot of time on each thing. She just like mentioned certain things that I picked up along the way that I like want to look like the sleep aid thing. Like she just mentioned a few things, so now I want to go and look that up somewhere and see what somebody else says about it. And
in all honesty, that would probably help anyways. I mean, I don't know if lavender specific for you.
I hate lavender. Okay. I hate the smell of lavender.
So if I could just scent.
Put it in there and not have to smell
You don't have to use lavender. What's a soothing scent? You know, what's cozy and comforting and makes you feel nice and like ready for bed, I guess.
Can I put a Tide Pod in there?
Probably. like a dryer sheet.
Yeah.
Probably. Because that's really what you're doing. You're setting these intentions with these things that make you feel a certain way. And then you close it up and you keep it under your bed or under your pillow or in your purse. Not your purse, but somebody else's purse.
Well, I think the sleep one specifically, she mentioned putting it under your pillow or like at your bedside table or something like that.
I put the protection jar under her bed, like actually under her bed. Where her pillows lie on the floor. And then she brought it to me 2 days later and she's like, what the hell is this?
I don't blame her. Like, is that my hair? What have you been doing? Don't ask questions.
Like, don't ask questions, just put it back. Don't touch it. Don't open it. Put it back. She's like, what is it? I was like, it's a protection jar.
Yeah, I think that was the point of the wax was so that she can't open it, but we
better
did it
at
wrong.
That. Yes, we did. Yeah, we're going to not put the claspy piece on. We're just going to put the topper on, and then we're going to seal it, and then we'll do the twisty.
Oh.
I know, right? Okay, so I've been thinking about how to do that.
My thought to change it was to put the seal, the whole jar together, and then just put the wax around the seal of the jar, like where the seal meets the jar.
Okay, which would work too. Okay.
Because I don't know if we're going to get the ring on there with the wax. Because it has to go over the wax.
Yeah, it has to like dry as it's like falling onto it basically. But yeah, I like yours too. We might try both. See which one works better. That's why it's all...
we're making it up along the way.
We're supposed to see what works for us.
It also says you can use a zipper bag instead of a jar.
Okay, so I'm keen on the jars because I like jars. But I just like collecting little things. So zipper bags are probably better. But I like the jars.
They're like more practical.
Yes, I know that. I guess we can do the practical magic.
I mean, if you're gonna do it like a lot, if you're gonna do it frequently.
Just have fucking jars. Or bags.
Just jars everywhere. I mean, bags certainly do take up less space. I mean, look at this. This whole, how many, did we ever count how many of these there are in here?
I think there's 13.
I mean, it's much easier if they're in bags versus jars.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then we have to get the small snack bags. Because we don't need, like, a big-ass sandwich bag. We can just use, like, the small snack bags.
We should have, like, a bookshelf with all the little jars.
That's why I want to make an altar. So I do. I really.
And have some like weird shit.
I carry my crystals on me, but I've been thinking about not. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, so the altar thing is. I don't think it's my thing, man. I think there's a lot about witchcraft.
Beauty altar already. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a vanity for my makeup.
It's where you put
and
your face
skincare
on.
And nail.
It's where you put
stuff.
Your life, like where you get all.
But I don't do that on a regular enough basis.
Okay, so that's also something that I was listening to and hearing about is you don't have to be an everyday witch. You don't have to practice every day to call yourself a witch. If you do these things and you make an intention when you're putting your makeup on, it's witchy. It's witchy.
They said the same thing about the salt over the shoulder.
It's witchy! And, like, not walking under a ladder, and, like... Okay, so Friday the 13th has always been, like, a day that I've always considered, like, an unlucky day. I don't like Friday the 13th. It's just, I would rather stay home and in bed that day. Like, let's be honest. But it's supposed to be a day of luck for witches. So I'm trying to turn my mindset around to, like, okay, it's not a bad day. It's a lucky day. I just have to find the luck. It's a scavenger hunty day type of a shit. I don't know. I'm making it up as I go. I'm making it up because Friday the 13th is supposed to be lucky for witches, okay? So if it's supposed to be lucky and I have intentions, let's find the reason that it's lucky. Let's find the silver lining. It's just, I don't know. And I've always liked black cats, and black cats are supposed to be a witchy thing. And so there's already things that, like, people do on a daily that, like, stems from witchy behavior. Don't look at me like that. I'm sure there's more. I just can't think of any off the top of my head.
I'm just, the belief is the struggle.
I noticed.
Because I feel like...
I mean, okay.
You can be labeled a witch even if you don't actually practice any intentional witchcraft. Because you throw salt over your shoulder, it's a witchy thing. And you have a black cat, so that's a witchy thing too. And maybe Friday the 13th is your lucky day, just on the regular. So that makes you a witch too. But you don't actually do magic of any kind on any kind of basis. The only magic you're doing is like, oh, I spilled the salt over the shoulder for luck.
Okay, I don't.
And I don't walk under ladders because I don't want it to follow me.
I don't think that specifically, like, doing just those things and not, like, okay. But, like, you could do, like, the self-intentional magic where, like, you don't do magic for other people and you don't practice for others and you don't, like, we don't do it together, whatnot. And your only magic is at the vanity and putting your face on.
And the only magic is transforming my face into something acceptable for people to see.
Human population.
It's the magic trick. Ta-da!
But I don't think that you have to be a loud witch. I want to
find out because I do have, and there are some things that sort of, I think maybe led me to this to some degree. But I didn't realize it until now, until I started thinking about things in a different way. Now I'm thinking about things differently. Okay. And one of those things...
I'm so glad because I was like, example. So you
was
didn't just move on.
My intuition.
Okay. Like your gut feeling.
Yes.
Heard.
But I can't ever explain it.
You're not supposed to.
And I can't... I mean, another perfect example is has to do with you. Go figure.
Because we've been sisters and friends our whole lives.
The guy.
Right.
At the very beginning, I was like, man, I don't think so, Tim.
Bad feeling.
I just don't. And the whole, why? Why, what? Give me an example. And she always wants examples.
I do. Reasons.
I don't have a reason. I don't think this is good. I don't think it's a good idea. I just don't. Got a feeling. I just got a feeling. I've never been able to explain it. I still feel that way. And I was right. More than once. And continue to be right, I think. And that's not the only time that's happened. That's just the biggest one that I can remember that I definitively upfront said something before anything happened. I was like, listen, I just have a feeling about this situation that it's not going to go well. And it didn't. And it wasn't in an immediate way, but it was true. And
but
so
I think you can do that. Like you,
I'm a very good judge of character for the most part.
And you do that usually very quickly. So it's like one of the first or second times you meet somebody, you're like, do I like them or no? And normally it reasons out to why not if you don't. But you also do it often. Mm-hmm. So that gut instinct is something that.
So maybe I need to figure out how to to understand that.
Maybe.
Because I do feel that way.
Maybe.
But it's in a very generalized way.
And if you can
I feel good about a person or I feel bad about a person, I know that pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. But I don't know anything more specific than that. If I feel good about them, how good do I feel about them? Because not everybody is like sunshine and rainbows.
Right.
You know, you can feel good about a person and dislike certain things about them.
Right.
So how do I figure that out? And if I have a bad feeling about a person, how bad is that? Is that like a dangerous person? Is it somebody that I just am not going to get along with?
Somebody that you just don't have any connection with?
Right.
You have nothing to talk about, so it is what it is.
So I don't put any effort into this this relationship here under any capacity.
Right.
You know, a work relationship, I'm not going to invest a lot of energy into this person because I know I'm not going to get that back.
Right.
But is this person somebody maybe that we shouldn't have hired?
Or is this a person somebody that scares you? Like if you were to
be
alone in the building with that person,
right?
Would it make you nervous?
do I feel threatened by this person? Do I feel like they're going to screw over the company or the owner? Do I feel like we're in danger? Like if I'm alone in the office and this person comes in, am I in danger?
Well, and
you know, and I want to be able to identify that. I want to know if I get a bad feeling about a person, how bad is that person, or how bad is that feeling?
And can you use any of your objects to answer those questions?
That's sort of what I want to do. I want you. That's what I'm looking for. You just stuck a pin right in it. And I didn't know that until you said it out loud. That's what I want. I already have intuition.
Okay.
I want to know how to use it. And I want to be able to understand it.
Okay.
So I need to find something that I am able to read. Yes. That I'm able, it doesn't necessarily mean words on a page read. That I'm able to understand. Whether it's the pendulum thing, if I can figure that out and answer the questions. Or, I mean, that's limited to yes or no, so I don't know how specific I'm going to end up being able to get without getting one of those little board things that goes underneath it. And I don't really want to get to that point with that thing. I don't want anything to be misconstrued as a communication with anybody other than me and like
your own energy.
My own, yeah. Like my situation. I don't want to communicate with the dead. I don't want to communicate with spirits. I don't want to communicate with harmful anybody. For like whatever you want to call those demons or the bad ghosts. I don't know.
It's funny because I have questions in that realm because I don't want to do any of what you said. But I wouldn't mind communicating with my ancestors, like the people who I love who have passed on. But I don't know if that opens doors to others.
It does, and that's why I don't want to. So I don't I'm a little weird about the pendulum asking anything other than yes or no questions because that I am supposed to be asking of myself and my subconscious. Mm-hmm. I don't, and that's what I want. I want to know why I am having that feeling. I'm getting that feeling, and it's happening to me on the inside. So the answer is going to be in there somewhere too. I just have to learn how to find it.
Practice.
So I don't know if the pendulum is my thing.
But
so I want to try maybe tarot cards.
Yes.
And see if that's an easier way of communication and finding and unscrambling
your uncertainties.
My own. Yeah, like, you know, I've got a good feeling about this person, but what does that mean?
Right.
Is this person my new best friend?
Right.
Is this person just
going to help me advance in my career?
Are they a good influence in my life? Are they a mentor?
Are they going to be helpful for my children in some aspects?
Right. Like, can we narrow this down? If it's a bad feeling, is this person going to hurt me? Is this person permanent?
Right.
Is this person temporary, or are they going to, am I going to have to tolerate a lot, or like a little? Or is it
just going to come in and
gonna like annoy me for a minute and then be out of here? Like, I want to be able to interpret what I'm already feeling.
I think those are all pendulum kind of questions. Like, everything that you just asked, you could ask a pendulum and get yes or no's for. And then you could kind of go and guide from there. Now, opening yourself up to tarot, absolutely. Why not? I have no idea how to do that. So that would be something relatively simple me how to be a witch.
I think it so far it seems that the practice of it is shuffling, and then you cut the deck, and then you lay the cards, and then it's the interpretation of what has been laid before you.
And the question that you've asked in reference to.
Correct. Because it's the same cards. It's the same faces of cards. They don't change. So you will have these cards again under certain circumstances. You will have seen these cards before, but depending on the question and the intention and at where they are when you lay them down determines what your answer is. And so that interests me. And the very fact that it doesn't change. It's a deck of cards. You know what I mean? It's not.
Oh, but if I bring you a regular deck of cards, you'll be very mad about it.
I'm mad about the substitutions.
So don't substitute.
But then, like,
you don't have to substitute.
With the tea leaves and with I still kind of want to do that just to see.
I want to do tea leaves anyways.
If I can even make that happen. But with the crystal ball thing too, it's up for interpretation. And if I see something in there, like if I see a fucking seahorse. Like, what does that have to do with anything? You know what I mean? Like,
maybe you're going to see the ocean. Maybe you're going to an aquarium. Maybe
over what
you're
sort of
buy a
period of time? Between now and the day I die? Yeah, I would like to believe that I, at some point, am going to go to the ocean. It happens to be my favorite place. So, yeah, sure. But tell me something I don't know. I'm going to go see the ocean. Well, of course I will. At some point.
She said, well, of course I will. I love it.
That's not what I want to see.
So then you ask a more direct question, which is where you have to, where you want to go with it is to, like, the pendulum. Will it be this year that I go to the ocean? Yes or no?
I want it to answer me. And a crystal ball is not going, it's not a magic 8 ball. It's not. I don't want yes and no questions like that.
I like the open-endedness.
Oh, hell no. Absolutely.
I like that there's multiple options, bro.
Why?
Why? Because not everybody's right and not
How do
everybody's
you know
wrong.
It's going to work?
Because something will.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll find out what works as we try everything and see what sticks.
Yep. She's going to practice the grounding this week. That is intention right there.
Yeah. Like that. We'll see how that goes.